Pro Julius Onyango Guma, you stand convicted of counts 2 and 4. Those are the counts. In count 1, you are convicted of receiving a bribe in the sum of 200,000, contrary to Section 6.1. A, as read with Section 18 of the Bribery Act number 47 of 2016. In count 4, you stand convicted of concealing evidence, being the sum of 200,000, contrary to provision of Section 66.1, as read with Section 66.2 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act of 2003, that's ASECA. Second accused person, PC Charles Macharia Wanjiru, you stand convicted of count 5 for a charge of obstruction contrary to Section 66.1, A, as read with Section 66.2 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act 2003. I must once again appreciate the work that your counsels did, as well as the prosecution counsels before this court. Because in total, we had a total of both during prima facie case as well as when I sat down to consider the final judgments. Accused persons, you are first offenders, and on behalf of the state, both Ms. Samit and Ms. Marete have had the court to mete out a sentence that's proportionate to the aggravating circumstances of the case, that the principle of proportionality. In considering your mitigation, I've perused and taken into account the probation officer's report, the report by Sally, for the two of you. I've also taken into account your individual affidavits that you have written. These documents are dated today, also the affidavits on today. From that report, I've been able to note that accused person, you are the sole breadwinners of your families. You have also indicated also second accused person is both hypertensive and also suffering from diabetes, and at present attending medication. I've seen the medical reports from the two hospitals, and the same have not been challenged. Accused persons, in your affidavits and through the probation officer's reports, you have expressed remorse and regret for your actions that resulted to your arraignment before this court. I've also taken mitigation submissions by Learned Counsel Dunstan Omari, Mr. Oman, Mr. Kinoti. And the counsel have had this court to forgive you and to exercise mercy in sentencing. Having carefully considered all these issues, circumstances of this case, the charges that accused person will stand convicted, I've also taken into account the sentencing guidelines revised in 2003. These are the matters that shall inform this court in arriving at the final sentence. 1, the circumstances of the offense and nature of the charges. Observes and acknowledges that accused persons you have submitted to the authority of this court, and you have been in custody since 23rd of November 2023 when we read these judgments. You have also attended courts, and for the court, I've noted that you have adhered to our directions, and also that compliment goes to your counsel. We didn't have any exchange over anything. You just allowed the law to take its own course. Number 3, the need to rehabilitate accused persons. Accused person, you have no previous records and you are first offenders. And you have previously served as law enforcement officers. And again, you are the sole breadwinners of your young families. The last issue that I shall consider is attitude of accused persons toward the conviction. Accused persons, although convicted, I also acknowledge that I've seen remorse in the mitigation by counsels and also in your statements to the probation officers, as well as even in your own unwritten affidavits. And you have also said that you regret for your actions and ask the court to give you a second chance. Now, all these circumstances form this court to avail an opportunity to the accused persons to change through an uncustodial sentence. I'll save you from an uncustodial sentence. And therefore, the sentence that comments itself before this court is as follows. That's and I take into account what you told me. Yes, you suggested something, but let me tell you what I think would be appropriate in the circumstances. For the first accused person, Corporal Julius, for the charge of bribery, contrary to provision section 6(1)(a), as read with section 18 of the Bribery Act number 47 of 2006, I'll sentence you for the first limb. You pay a fine of 500,000 in default, you serve 12 months imprisonment. 500 in default, 12 months imprisonment. In addition, for the same offense, and honestly, this one you can blame yourself because you're the one who went away with this man. Ordinarily, I would have considered a more linear sentence. This one under section 18(2) of the Bribery Act number 47 of 2006, and that was investigations money, mind you. You shall pay the mandatory fine in the sum of 1 million, and in default, you serve 3 years imprisonment. So that one, Corporal Julius, I think you blame yourself. Don't touch government money, isn't it? My money, your money, our money. Please don't run away with it. You would have just thrown it away and you escape. That one would be understood. But when you go away with it, honestly, you'll have to pay it. And they say 5 times. So 5 times. That one, you can't be excused. But I didn't. You have been saved from imprisonment if you can raise that. For the offense in count 5, Corporal Julius, you are convicted of concealing evidence, the act of concealment, which is now under a different regime. It's under SECA. This court will sentence you to pay a fine of 400 in default, 12 months imprisonment. These sentences in count number 2 and count number 4 shall run consecutively. So in total, you pay 500 plus a million 1.5 plus 400 in total. You raise a fine of 1.9. If it's the sentence, you add 12 months plus 3 years, that's 4 years, plus 12, that's a total of 5 years. The choice is yours. I've allowed you to at least raise the money. For TC Charles Macharia, for the charge of obstruction, which is under section 66(1), as read with section 66(2) of ASECA, I'll not treat you differently, but I'll sentence you to a fine of 400,000 in default, 12 months imprisonment. So you raise 400,000 or you serve 1 year. You are only convicted of one offense. You have 14 days right to appeal against the sentence and certified copies of That's against the judgment and the sentence. Yes, and you get certified copies of the ruling. And that one would also apply to the prosecution and even counsels if you're under certified copy. Once again, thank you for your patience and indulgence. If it was a sentence, we'll do concurrent, correct? But when there is fine involved, because we can't have that. So in total, do you want to note it down, Corporal Julius? You'd rather note it down so that you don't, because it's very important. Someone does not. So for the first limb, you pay 500,000 in default 12 months. 12 months. Correct? Then the second limb, the mandatory fine, because of the money lost, you pay a fine of 1 million in default 3 years imprisonment.